Hello, this is chapter 6. I'm going to break this into 2 videos. It's actually 2 different class periods, but I have them all in one document, so it's easier for everyone to deal with. So this is going to be chapter 6, and this is going to be video 1, and you'll see where we do video 2 in a minute. Now I made sure that all these links had all these pages have nice live links. You can see right here, if you want to go and read about what we're talking about in OpenStax, you can go right to the section. I also made it so that, the different links that are in this, they're all live links. I've got some links that are examples of something you might see in the lab, so try to make it relevant to you so that you can see what's going on. Now this first section of OpenStax should be a reminder of chapter 2 to you. So a lot of it should seem really familiar, so it should seem a lot like chapter 2. It shouldn't seem like it's new material, because it isn't. Just as a quick reminder, we've said this several times, but on your periodic chart, when we're looking at it, if we're trying to tell the difference between something that's ionic and something that's covalent, we've talked about how the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, how you've got your stair steps right there. And if you're doing something that's ionic, then it's going to be something that's on this side. So we partly have that side and something with something on this side. That's our look of our something that's ionic. Whereas with covalent, both things are on that same side. And the only reason why this is mattering in this chapter is because they use this word formula mass. And in chapter 2, we talked about the word molecular mass. They mean the same thing. It means you go to the periodic chart and you grab the number that's on the periodic chart and you bring it over and you use it as moles per gram. And if you have a lot of things on the periodic chart all in the same compound, then you add them up and then you have the mass of the whole thing. So we have some examples. There are 4 species below. You're going to circle the compounds. So compound, that would be something ionic. Then are made up of formula units. So that's just that word. Remember we talked about before, we use the word formula units to talk about one little unit of a compound. And if you have a formula unit, guess what? The mass you get off the periodic chart is just called a formula mass. So if you see formula mass, don't let that throw you. It just means get the numbers off the chart, add them together. So if we look at these numbers right here, we have sodium chloride, and sodium's here and chlorine's over here. So definitely that one is ionic. We look at magnesium chloride, he's here, and again the chloride. So ionic. And then we've got something, this is on the left side over here. And then this is a group, it's a polyatomic ion, it has a charge. So because this has a charge and then this sodium has a charge, we know that sodium is +1 and there's 3 of them. We know that. Then we also know that this guy's ionic. Now when we look at this last compound, we're going to put a square around it because the carbon and the oxygen, they're both over here on the right hand side. And then remember, hydrogen is one of the only things that bonds in all different kinds of ways. And it's a nonmetal, and so we're going to be calling this bonding. When it's with things like carbon and oxygen, we'll be calling it a covalent bond or a molecule. So this is a molecule, whereas the other ones are compounds. This one is our only molecule, made up of molecules, and so we would call the numbers we get off the chart the molecular mass. But notice in all those cases, you do it all the same way. Keep in mind that when you have a 2, don't forget to multiply by 2 before you add. You got a 3, don't forget to add by 3. The 4 only applies to the oxygen. It does not apply, make sure that looks like that's going straight to oxygen. It does not apply to the phosphorus. And then our hydrogen over here, he's got 2. And you just add it all up. Now keep these numbers in mind because we're going to use them later on in the next section. This just reminds you how to calculate formula molecular mass. You've seen all this. There won't even be Newton on it. It's just everything kind of builds on remembering that idea, and you haven't seen it in 2 chapters, so just remember it. It was important, still is.